We are in my garage to talk about cells, of course. Sorry I didn't clean up. I didn't know I was going to have company. Well, a few simple ideas when it comes to cells. So one is cells allow us to differentiate. I mean, think about if your entire body was just one big container, like this balloon. Well, if anything happened to that balloon, well, there you go. That's kind of it. So, lesson one, you don't put all your eggs in one basket, right? We have trillions of cells. Two, differentiation. You know, multi-tools like this one are fantastic if that's the only thing you can take with you. But I mean, look at this whole range of things. It does all kinds of stuff. But if I want the screwdriver here, you know, I gotta hopefully not cut myself and get that folded in, and that one folded in. I mean, so far not going great. Pinch myself, and you know, even then it's not a great screwdriver. If I want a screwdriver, I just grab a screwdriver. It's simple, does one thing. But this is a lot like, you know, our brain cells do brain cell things, and our muscle cells do muscle cell things, and our skin cells do what skin cells do. And so if you try to make every single cell do every function, it's just not going to work. So not a lot of multi-tool cells. Some organs do a lot of stuff. Your liver is amazing. It does all kinds of chemical reactions, but then again, it's mostly a lot of chemical reactions. Differentiation, and that's part of why I'm out here, right? I mean, we do certain things in the garage. That's why we have them. Some people even park cars in their garage, but other people have tools and bikes and ladders in their garage. It's a great place to store all that stuff. I wouldn't want all that in my kitchen, and I wouldn't want it in the bedroom. So we differentiate. We have different rooms for different tasks. Can you imagine just living in a one-room house? I mean, just the whole thing, you know, like living your whole life in a tent. It wouldn't be real easy. So being able to have different cells, have different functions, is a lot like that. So besides spreading out the risk by having many cells and allowing some different functions, cells also need to allow for exchange with their surroundings, right? They're surrounded by lots of other cells, but also blood and interstitial fluids that flow around them, and they need to bring in materials and expel their wastes. Got a basic idea of living things. So let's take a living thing. You just bring home a brand new pet. Isn't he cute? And so you come out to the garage and you find a box, right? So maybe it's not a pig, of course, but you know, maybe you get a caterpillar, right? Common childhood first pet, so to speak. And so you find a box and you put them in there and you're all set. Oh, you realize, almost forgot, better throw in some food, put a few seeds in there, and maybe some water. So let's put some water in there. Good idea. Don't want them to escape, and so, you know, duct tape to the rescue. All sealed up. Now we're set. Well, there's a problem with that. Got to breathe, right? First thing, I mean, taking Caterpillars 101, I actually found a different use for this. There, air holes. Maybe a lot more air holes if it's something with a higher metabolism that needs to breathe a lot. So that allows some exchange in and out of the cell, just like our cells need. Just thought of another problem. Got to feed them. How am I going to feed them? You know, if this was permanently sealed up like your cell needs to be, it doesn't have a garage door like the one behind you there. So, well, better cut a feeding hole. Don't worry, he's not being harmed. Alright, so got it. Feeding hole cut, and I can even, here, see, I can open it and it can close. This is pretty good stuff. Well, that's not great, but you know, I have this one here for a reason. Hamster cage, got air holes, even this great little water bottle that you can take off without opening the whole cage. Let water in, and of course you got to take water out by changing the bedding. These are annoying, aren't they? They just keep you up all night when they feed on the water. Well, anyway, better idea than a box. And our cells are even better still. They're a lot more differentiated. They kind of have their own version of air holes and feeding holes and all that sort of stuff. So they do need some exchange. That's also why they're so small, right? And so if I want to feed this animal in here, then I can put a little bit of food in and it can get right to it. But I wouldn't want a gigantic place. Here you go, little piggy. Where it may never make its way over to the food. Same with our cells. That material needs to find its way in and out, and it can't do so over a huge space. Remember, we're shrinking down to kind of the molecular level, and so we got to think about that. And even within a cell, they need to compartmentalize, and that'd be our fourth idea. But it doesn't apply to all cells. So prokaryotic cells, the bacteria and archaea, short-lived as they are, they're really simple. They kind of have it streamlined. They do kind of live their life in a tent, like I was mentioning before. And so they really pare things down simply. Be kind of like my little box of drill bits here. So I just have this little container, and I got them all just in there, and when I need to use one, I pour it out. It's not a great system. Could I have one of those little files with each of them sitting there? Each has its own little place. Sure, kind of like, you know, the hammer has a place and the screwdriver has a place. That would be easier, but prokaryotes, they live life pretty fast, and they don't make much room for different compartments. Now eukaryotes, on the other hand, they're composed of more complicated cells, and there's more stuff going on there. So it's a little bit like the differentiation that I talked about before, where we have different rooms in the house for different tasks. They make little different areas within their room, within their cell. So it's a bit like, you know, in the kitchen you have cupboards and you have counters and you have the refrigerator. Well, they have organelles, and so that's a little more like this box of screws. Within there, you know, if we open this guy up, see, isn't that nice and organized? I mean, it's just a thing of beauty. It's not fantastic, but you know, you got the bolts here and the nuts here, and you got certain size screws and mollies that go with them, and another size there and a different size here. This is kind of the miscellaneous area. And cells do the same sort of thing with their organelles. They have different compartments for different tasks and different tools.